Bismillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alright, so today is basically the last formal lesson for book 2. Thank you for, listening to my blabbering for the last couple of weeks. Hopefully it helps a little bit, if not too much. But yeah, basically today is the last lesson and we are going to talk about fi'l. In the book 2, they actually start with fi'l first. I think from lesson 2 to lesson 5, they talk about fi'l. But the way that I structured it is slightly different. I actually just continued from where we left in book 1, where we talk about mudah hilai, things like that. I'm just adding the dual and plural into it. Yeah, that's why I kind of restructured it. But now is the last kind of module, and I want to talk about the fi'l. So just I guess a very high level overview, kind of similar to, in English where you have past tense, present tense, future tense, kind of similar. But in Arabic, basically they are madi, which is past tense, mudari, which is can be used for present and future, and as well as fi'l amar or nahi, which is the imperative or instruction, like command or forbidding. Okay, but in book 2, there's only fi'l madi, so we don't have to worry about mudari and amar or nahi. Just have to worry about madi, which is the past tense. So for the past tense, a high level overview first, I suppose. And basically to recap what we talk about in book 1. In book 1, we say there are 3 types of words. If we still remember, what are those? No, not status, type of words. Ism, fi'l, and harf, right? So we have already talked about ism. Harf we talked about a little bit like huruf jar, right? So this one is the fi'l that we haven't really talked about. So which is the last out of the 3. So a quick recap: fi'l is basically a word that has a tense. If you say, you could say walked or talks, right? So that's present tense. Walked is past tense. So any kind of word that has a time attached to it in a way, where you can put tense to it, then that's basically fi'l. Okay. So what we are going to learn in this particular lesson is something to do with jumlah is fi'liyah. So in book 1, we learn about jumlah ismiyah, where all of the words is actually ismiyah or huruf jar. But for jumlah fi'liyah, basically one of the difference is that jumlah fi'liyah starts with fi'l. So all this while we learn mubtada khabar and all this stuff, right? Forget about those for the time being. So jumlah is fi'liyah, follows a different formula. It doesn't follow the mubtada khabar anymore. So it basically has fi'l, that's the start of the sentence. Okay, so as an example, I give some example in the English first, just to make it, I guess, easier to explain. So in Arabic, one word can actually mean multiple things. Okay, like even alhamdu is just one word, but the translation is like all praise and thanks. It's actually multiple things, all praise and thanks. Lillahi, to Allah. Right? So it's actually multiple things in one. So it's not a direct translation one to one from Arabic to English. Okay? So similarly, in Arabic, when you say he ate, it's actually just one word. If you say he went, it's just one word. It's not 2 words, it's just one word. The pronoun is already inside the fi'l. Okay? So if let's say we say dhahaba, that's actually he went. Jalasa, he sat. It's not just sat, it's actually, there's already a pronoun inside it. He sat or he ate, there's actually just one word for it. Similarly, if we want to say they went, there's also one word for it. Dhahabu. As an example. So that's like a very high level overview. That's one of the main difference between the English and the Arabic.
The syllables are defined.
Yeah, and I will talk about that later. The if you recall the table that I put in the WhatsApp group, there's actually like 14. No, yes, 14. 14 words that we kind of have to memorize the pattern to know that whether this is he went, she went, they both went, I went, we went, depend on the ending. And we'll talk about that in a bit. Okay, so as I mentioned just now, the pronoun is already inside the fi'l, and then because the word itself can means like he ate, that's actually a complete jumlah fi'liyah already. Like even if we say he ate, that's already a complete sentence, because a jumlah fi'liyah really it only needs 2 things. One is the action, the other is the doer who's actually doing it, and the action. So as long as we have that, that's kind of complete the jumlah fi'liyah already. Okay, but also known, and this is what Sheikh actually mentioned, Sheikh Yusuf mentioned in the first class when we talk about book two. Um, in fi'l, there's actually two type of fi'l as well, and maybe I'll go to the English example to make it easier to understand. So in English, we have some verbs where you can add someone or something. Let's say, for example, I ate something. Hopefully, I don't eat someone, but I ate something. Yeah. So I ate an apple as an example, right? But then if I say I slept, I can't add anything else. I slept someone, I slept something. I can't add, right? So that's like intransitive, and the one that you can add something is called transitive. Wait a second. Did I did I miss it up? I think I got it right. So there's kind of two types of word or fi'l. The reason why we kind of need to know that is because depending on the type of fi'l, you might not be able to make it passive, right? So let's say, for example, I give another example. Hit. Like say I hit the cat as an example. The passive word, the passive sentence will be the cat was hit, right? So that's a passive sentence.
Yes.
But I slept, you can't make it passive. How to make passive for I slept? Slept me? No. So that's kind of the difference. Even in English, there's transitive and intransitive, so kind of similar as well in Arabic. So we just kind of need to know that for now, but we are not really going to dive deep into it in book two. It's just for knowledge that there's actually different type of thing. Okay, all right. So just a general rule, and this is something that we have to build our skill on. When we look at, let's say, for example, in Quran, right? When we look at those words, um, after some practice, we should be able to identify whether that word, even if we don't know the meaning, whether it's fa'il or whether it's ism. There's a couple of tell. For example, for fi'il, it cannot have tanween, and it will never be majrur. As an example, right? So there's a couple of tell, but this is one of it. I just want to kind of um, mention it. And for example, another example is like ism. It doesn't end with sukun. The last harakah of a ism, it doesn't never will end with sukun. As an example. So there's a couple of tell, but this is like quite advanced. But you kind of need to know when you start to understand, try to translate Arabic into English to understand it. That kind of help you to understand. Oh, is this or is this fi'il or is this half? So that kind of help in terms of identifying whether that word belong to either of these three categories. Okay. As I mentioned just now, we have three types of like tenses. We're just going to go into fi'l madi, and I mentioned about this part. I mentioned about the action and the doer, but what I didn't mention just now is the detail. The detail can be there or can be omitted as well, depending on the context, right? Let's say, for example, someone asks me, "What do you do?" Let's say, for example, I teach. That's kind of okay already. Then people will know that I'm a teacher as an example. But I can also say I teach my kids mathematics. That's a detail, right? So I teach, which is I as a doer, teach as the action. The detail is my kids, and another detail is math. Get it? So a fi'l, a jumlah fi'liyah, it can be it must have the doer and the action, and it can also have additional details. Another example of detail, we can say like I went to the masjid yesterday. Now I'm adding like details about when as well. Or I went to the masjid hurriedly, for example. Now I'm adding like adverb. So all of those are details. But the main verb is I went in that case. And the main doer is me. But all the other ones are details. Okay? All right. So that's basically an overview. Any questions so far on the overview? Okay. Now we're going to go into this table, which is what you were asking just now, Brother Quram. Okay, so the fi'l, as I said, one word can mean multiple things or have like two different words, English words to it. Uh, the example that I have here is na for raw, which is helps, he helps, or helped, past tense. Okay, now the most difficult one to kind of remember are these first six, and I'll tell you why later on, but this is just something that we kind of have to remember. For fi'il madi, the additional syllables or additional haraka or additional letters are always at the end. It's never going to be at the front. always at the end. So it's always nasa something, nasa something. Okay, if you see here, the first one is nasa ra, and then the huma version is nasa ra. There's an additional alif there, nasa ra, and then for the plural is hum nasa ru, and you can actually omit this. Hum nasaru and nasaru kind of mean the same thing, but I'm not going to go too much into it. Kind of mean the same thing. It's not exactly the same though, but for our level, I'm going to say it's the same. It's not exactly the same actually, but anyway. Nasaru, you can see that now instead of nasara, it became dhamma, and there's a waw and alif at the end. Nasaru. And then here, there's a ta, nasarats. So instead of just nasara, there's additional ta there, nasarats. And then you just add another additional alif, nasarata. And then hunna, nasarna. And this is just something that we have to memorize. Like for me, I kind of remember that for ladies usually like auntie. How do I remember it? I just remember that when there's female, I just remember that I need to add ta to it. So this is actually, let me just make sure that you guys recognize. This is masculine, yeah, just in case that people didn't realize it. This is masculine row. This is feminine row, yeah. So this is she, and you can see that as well. She, he, both of them. And then they help. So you see they, as in English, it still say they, but this one they, masculine, all masculine. While this one they, all feminine. Hunna, yeah, hunna, nasrna, hum, nasaru. If they say there's multiple, let's say in this gathering there's also female, you still use nasaru. You can't use nasarna. If there is male, you can never use female version. Okay, that's another rule. Right. So this is just something that we have to memorize. Like when I say memorize, you have to make sure that you can see something like this speed. Huwa nasara, huma nasara, hum nasaru, hiya nasarat, huma nasarata, hunna nasarna. That's what I mean by memorize. Right?
And all the words, whatever they are,
Mm.
these rules would apply to them.
Yes. They are more advanced. Sorry, brother.
Can you put another fi'l in apart from nasara?
Yeah, let's say for example, huwa jalasa. Huwa jalasa, huma jalasa, hum jalasu, hiya jalasat, huma jalasata, hunna jalasna. Huwa kharaja, yes. Want to try, brother Zubair? Huwa kharaja.
Kharaju.
Yeah, here.
Ia kharajat.
Uh-huh.
Uma kharajata.
Mm-hmm.
Hunna kharajwat.
Na.
Kharajna.
Kharajna.
Kharajna, yeah.
So yeah, basically the
Yes.
format exactly the same.
You have to memorize the ending.
Yeah, you have to memorize the
And
ending.
fail, yeah.
Yeah. For now, there are more advanced one. Let's say, for example, huruf illah. I think brother Rosman has learned about it for a bit. Where let's say, for example, there's like alif, waw, or ya in the three. Then there's going to be slightly different. But I'm not going to go. That's like book 5 or 6. So don't have to worry about that for now. For now, we just need to memorize that the ending is always like that. Nasara, nasara, nasaru, nasarat, nasarata, nasarna. And you add jalasa, you add kharaja, you add raja'a, same thing. Okay, makes sense? That's the most difficult one to remember. The reason why I say that is because the next 6 is very easy to remember because anta nasarta, antuma nasartuma, antum nasartum, anti nasarti, antuma nasartuma, antunna nasartunna. You see that it's actually rhyming with the pronoun. Like anta nasarta, antuma nasartuma, antum nasartum. You see that?
And that is also like constant.
Yes.
You see that? Sorry?
That is also constant, like the word failure is nasara. Right?
Yeah. If you say jalasa, try.
Jalasa, so anta jalasa,
Jalasta.
jalasta.
Antuma?
Jalastuma.
Tuma. Antum?
Antum jalastuma.
Jalastum. Anti?
Jalasati.
Jalasti.
Jalasti.
Antuma?
Jalasatuma.
Jalastuma.
Jalastuma.
You put a sukun. So basically the pattern is that the last you put the sukun and then ta, tum, ti, tuma.
Correct.
You get it?
Ta, tuma, tun.
Tun, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, that part is clear.
Yeah. Yeah.
What the difference of the first 6 and the second 6? That's what are the difference?
So the first 6 is actually the third person. People who are not in front of you. When you talk about second person, where like he, you, or you all, or like you two, that's second person, isn't it? Because I'm talking to you. You're here. But if let's say I'm talking about Sheikh Yusuf, he's not here. When I say he, he's not here. He's Malaysia. So he's not here, meaning third person. So that row, masculine, feminine, and also on the left side, third person here. And then this one is second person, and the last one is first person, which is I or we, meaning that it's include yourself. I or we. So the I or we is nasartu and nasarna.
That is genderless.
Sorry,
That is
genderless, because it doesn't matter if it's feminine or masculine, same.
As long as the person is in front of you.
As long this one is
As long as
you're talking about yourself.
Yeah.
As long as you're talking about yourself, then you use that one. Ana or nahnu. Yeah. Nahnu nasarna, ana nasartu. So this is something that unfortunately I have to know. Sorry?
You're not explaining something to someone. You're just
Correct.
talking to-
Yeah, it's like you talk, you just like talking to yourself in a way, or talking, or not talking to yourself, but you're talking to the other people, but you're explaining what you are doing, right? You're saying, I went. Not like talking to yourself, something wrong there, but
I mean, you address yourself.
you're addressing, it is a better word, sorry. Talking to yourself.
Talking to yourself.
When I hear voices in my head.
You must use that verb, yes. Okay, so as I said again, it's just something that we kind of have to practice and get ourselves familiarized with. The tip that I can give is that one. This group of 6 verb, as I said just now, is just the 3 root letters. The last one you just make it a sukun. Nasar, jalas, kharaj, raja, ta, and then just add ta, tuma, tum, ti, tuma, tunna. Same. The pattern is always the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this
So
one,
there's 2 you
sorry?
here. So
Yes.
one single, one plural, right?
this you,
Yeah.
this row is for masculine.
But there's the one is a single and one is plural, right?
No. So this one is singular, but you're talking to a male. This one singular as well, but you're talking to feminine.
Yeah, the next one.
This one you two,
Okay, so more than one.
yeah, more than one. And then this one is,
Less than 3.
Yeah.
yeah. So in Arabic, there's one, there's dual, and also there's plural. Yeah,
More than one, it can be 3.
yeah. More than one, but it cannot be 3. Yes. Dual. So in Arabic, there's one, singular, dual, and plural. So anything more than 2 will be plural. Anything 2 is 2. Anything 1 is 1. If I can put it that way. All right. So ana, nahnu. Okay. Any questions so far? Make sense? Obviously, you're not gonna memorize all do it in one day, but just a concept that I'm gonna have to go through. Yeah. All right. So that's the first part, which is the doer and also the action. We talked about the doer and action already. Now, what I want to talk about next is what is this one? Just make sure. Oh, okay. All right. So what we have talked about so far is how to say a pronoun doing something. Let's say, for example, he ate, she ate, they ate, all pronouns. But what about if you want to say Muhammad ate or Muhammad went? How do you say that? So- Sorry? Ism. So the fa'il, which is the doer, and the fa'il. In this case, the fa'il, the doer, is actually not inside of the word. It's actually outside. You're saying Muhammad went, not he went, Muhammad went. So,
third
sorry.
person will be replaced by the name.
So there's a rule. Effectively, if you want to use a sentence like that, where the doer is actually not the pronoun, which is a proper name like Muhammad, for example, let's look at the male version first. Yeah. So what you do is there are a couple of rules, and the rules are actually here. The fa'il, the doer, the word itself has to be after the fa'il. So let's say, for example, I want to say Muhammad went out, kharaja Muhammadun. So usually outside. It's not inside. Well, you can put it outside, inside anyway. It's kharaja, right? So kharaja means he went. But as soon as you put Muhammad, and okay, let me go to the rules first before I go into the example. So I said just now, it has to be after the fa'il. The other rule is that it has to be marfu'. Now we talk about marfu' again. All the way back to lesson number 1. Marfu'. Muhammadun, is it marfu'? It's marfu', right? It's the end with dhamma.
Yeah.
Okay, so marfu', you probably not. Yeah, sorry, this is like a couple of
I've
lessons.
taken these lessons.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'm just.
Oh, good. So Muhammadun is actually marfu'. Yeah, and also the fa'il has to be in a singular form. Singular. And also must match the gender of the outside fa'il. So let's say for example, more example, yeah. So let's say for example, just now I say kharaja Muhammadun. Alright? Now if you want to say Aisha when, I would say kharajat Aisha tu. Tu because of mamnu min as-sarf. So you cannot have tanwin.
Why not
Right?
Kharajta?
Say again.
Kharajta. What is kharajta? Try to recap. What is kharajta? It's you, right? Don't use you. Use the. Okay, let me just go back to this one. You have to use
Yeah, that can make sense.
this one. You have to use these two.
Okay.
The singular and third person. And then according to the gender.
Okay.
Once you have satisfied that rule, you can replace the word after that with anything. It doesn't have to be Muhammad. Let's say, for example, you want to say the Muslims, plural, hell, right? You will say Nasara Muslimuna, which is the marfu of Muslimun.
Like Alameen.
Sorry?
Like Rabbil Alameen.
Rabbil Alamin is a different thing. That's actually, yeah, that's a different thing. I'm going to have to explain a lot of things. You have to, yeah, that's Mudabudabulai.
Repeat the Muslim again.
So, okay, let's say, for example, you want to say the Muslims helped. Okay? You actually can use Nasara Muslimuna. The Muslims helped. Actually, wrong. Nasara al-Muslimuna. I forgot the alif lam.
So it will always be singular.
Have to be always singular.
So it will not match the count.
It will not match.
Just match the gender.
It must match the gender, correct. It must match the gender. It doesn't have to match. Okay, so
And the number. Plural.
no. It doesn't have to match. Yeah, okay. So let me take a step back. Yeah, I say that the when you want to use something that is not a pronoun, yeah, you want to use, let's say, Muslims, you want to use Aisha, you want to use Fatima, whatever it is, right? The rule is you always have to use this one, either of this.
Okay. So
Don't
these two-
forget about all the other 12.
Okay.
These two,
So it will be either
Either
Nasara or
Nasarats, depending on gender.
the gender. So and it only follows.
Yeah, it only follows gender. That's all. And then the outside doer must be marfu and must be after the fi'l. That's the only rule. Marfu after the fi'l.
And gender match.
Gender
Can we
match.
go to the rules again.
Yeah. So if I go back to this rule. Yeah. So must come after fi'l, must be marfu. The fi'l must be in huwa or hiya. Remember the huwa hiya just now? And then the fi'l must match the fi'l, fa'il in gender. That's all. It doesn't have to match the number. If-
Nasara al-Muslimun.
Nasara al-Muslimuna. Yes. Yes. Nasara al-Muslimuna or Nasara al-Muslimu? Now I'm forgetting. Nasara al-Muslimuna, I think. The alif lam, does it drop the al-Muslimuna? Is it al-Muslimuna? Yeah.
Because Kazab al-Kafir.
Oh, yeah, correct. Yeah. Okay, so far, so good. Hopefully not too difficult, but this is like probably the biggest topic in book 2, the fi'l. Okay, so far. All right. Now, the last one that I want to talk about is the details. Don't have to worry about all of this. This is just for information. Like what I said just now, right? Sometimes you put like I went there hurriedly, for example. Hurriedly is an additional detail, right? So effectively in book 2, the only thing that the author is introducing to us is the maf'ul bih. Maf'ul bih, which is the who or the what the action was done to. Let's say, for example, I ate an apple. An apple is the maf'ul bih. The details. Okay? Like qatala Dawudu Jaluta. Qatala Dawudu. You see that? Qatala Dawudu marfu Jaluta. So who killed who? Dawud kills Jalut. If you mess up the fatah and the dhamma, you will say qatala Dawuda Jalutu. That's wrong. That's not what Quran says. There's actually different meaning already. That means Jalut killed Dawud.
How? Because we said
It is still after.
the doer will, okay, after.
See that? The rule is after, isn't it?
Okay. After, not right.
Not right after. I just said after. It doesn't have to be right after. After. Make sense? Not sure. Do you see where the question was coming from? You saw the-
I did not understand the question.
Okay, the question was because Brother Isra is quick, so he saw that when I say Qatala Dawuda Jalutu is not immediately after Qatala, but the rule says it has to be after. It doesn't have to be right after. It doesn't have to be next to each other. It can be like further,
Further after.
further after. It just have to be after. You get what I mean?
So the doer is always it's coming with marfu, right?
Mm.
So Jalutu then he become the doer,
Mm.
and Dawuda, although it's after, become the maf'ul bih.
Mm.
It become Jalut killed Dawud.
Yeah. Yes.
No, but the rule is that the fail should be followed by.
No,
No.
This is what I was.
This-
It is not. It has to come after it,
But
not
in this,
followed by.
it's in this particular sentence.
Mm.
So katala means kill.
Kill.
Right.
Mm.
That's a
Dawudu.
Mm.
Dawud killed.
Mm.
Dawud
No, we said
Dawudu Jaluta, but that's one example.
So katala Dawudu is
Dawud killed.
Kill.
Right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's all good. So
Yeah.
this is where the rule is applying.
Yeah.
The fail is there, and the file is there. With
The file is after. The file is after, not necessarily right after. After the fail and it's mafu. Yes. Okay. Good so far.
So Dawudu is
The doer, the file. Yes.
yeah.
In that sentence,
And then Jaluta is
the detail.
The detail.
Okay. Okay. The other example that I was giving just now, the one that Brother Isra was asking is Qatala
Mhm.
Dawuda Jalutu. I said,
Oh, so you put the marfu in the third.
I put the marfu in the Jalutu,
That
Dawuda.
doer.
Now the meaning is switch.
So the first marfu after the fail is
Mm.
the.
Usually it's the first marfu after the fi'il. Yes.
So it has to follow, but not right after.
Not right after. That was
It
his
should be
question.
After it, not following.
Not necessarily right after. And it has some different meaning as well, depending on where it is, but that's like I don't know which book, but don't worry about it.
Right, okay.
For now, we just make it simple. We just put the file, the doer, right after the fi'il, and then the detail after it. That's like the most basic one. So like I went to the mosque, to the masjid. So I went, the detail is to the masjid. It's an example. So I went is the fi'il and the file, right? But in this case, it's actually I use another one. Let's say, for example, Muhammad went to the masjid, right? So how do you translate? Anyone want to try? Muhammad
Muhammadun
Zahaba Muhammadun
to masjid.
to the masjid.
Ila masjid.
Ilal masjid.
Ilal masjidi.
Yeah, ilal masjid. Yeah. So now we are just reusing what we have learned in book 1, which is the sentence, ism sentence. To the masjid, we already know how to do it, right? So now we're just adding the verb. So Muhammad went to the masjid. Zahaba Muhammadun ilal masjidi. Mm.
But if we just add an object on which we are doing the
Ah,
has to end with
sorry. Thank you for reminding me. So we put the example just now, but I didn't mention the rule. So Jaluta, when it is the detail, you have to put, if so remember that when we said in book 1, we say when it is khabar, that's like a specific rule, right? That we have to apply. If a khabar is actually a single word, it has to be marfu. Remember that? Marfu. Yeah? In book 1, when we say khabar, mutara khabar must be marfu, right? That's what's the rule.
Yeah.
Okay? And it must match number and gender for mutada, okay?
Yes.
Now, for jumlah ismiyah, jumlah fi'liyah, the details, which is the who or the what, have to be mansub.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, but I
I
didn't.
thought that was a rule.
Yeah, that was the rule, but I didn't explain it. But based on the example just now, it was Jaluta. I said Jaluta, right? But I didn't explain the rule, but I just give an example. Thank you for reminding me. So, Qatala, the verb, Dawudu, the doer, Jaluta, the detail. Jaluta is actually mansub with the fatah. Get it? Get it? Yeah.
we say Ahmed ate
Uh-huh.
banana. We say Akala
Mm.
Ahmed
Ahmadu,
Mauza.
Mauzan.
Mauza.
Mauzan.
Mauza.
Remember that ate an apple. So banana. A banana, right? You say a banana, right? So remember that when it is mansub, if it doesn't end with what do you call that? With ta marbuta, alif or hamza, you have to add alif at the end. And then in this case it's common, so it has to have tanwin. So apple, an apple. How do you say an apple first? Sorry, banana. How do you say banana first? Mauzun. Mauzun, right? With the tanwin. So now change it to mansub. Mauzan. Yeah. Because I didn't hear the tanwin just now. I don't know whether I didn't hear you, but I didn't hear the tanwin just now.
Yeah, I had only single.
Yeah. Jaluta is different. Jaluta because it's a mamnu min as-sarf thing. So it's Jaluta. That's why it doesn't have
has to
tanween.
be mansub.
Mansub?
We said every word will have tanween unless we have a reason to remove.
Correct. Unless there's a reason for it to be removed, right? Yes.
So, in the example of just Zahaba Muhammadun
That's
ila
why.
masjidi,
Yeah.
so that became majhul because there was a fujar.
Yes.
The rules will not apply.
Because why? Because remember that I said just now, if the detail is a single word, then you apply it.
Right. Okay.
That is a fragment to the masjid. That's why I keep on saying what's the fragment, because all of these things. That's why I keep on putting on it. So to the masjid is a fragment, right? Huruf jar and jar majrur, correct? So you don't simply just like ilal masjidah for no reason. No.
The fragments rule will always be
Yeah,
there.
it override everything. Fragment rule override everything. Yeah?
The rules, there are small islands,
Yeah, in a way.
their own
Yeah.
rules will apply.
But be careful. If let's say I say I hit let's say Ahmad's brother. So that brother, Ahmad's brother, mudaf mudaf ilaih, right?
Yeah.
So that brother, remember the rule of mudaf? I never say mudaf has to be marfu, has to be majrur, has to be mansub. If you recall, I never say anything about mudaf.
Mudaf ilayh has to be majhul. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. I never said anything about mudaf must be majrur, must be marfu, must be mansub. No, because it depends on the word or the context. In this case, the brother has to be mansub because now it is a detail. Although it's still a fragment, but now that mudaf is actually a detail of the I hit Ahmad's brother.
So if there is no definite rule,
If there's no definite rule, then obviously you have to apply it. If the fragment has its own rule, then yeah, just they will override everything anyway. Yeah. Does that make sense? Is it confusing or okay?
What's the Arabic for hitting?
Doraba.
Zaraba. So Muhammad hit Ahmad's brother with that.
Muhammad hits. Okay. Yeah.
Muhammad hit Ahmad's brother.
So yeah.
So
Try it. Doraba.
Muhammadun,
Muhammadun. So how do you say Ahmad brother? Is it?
Ahmad's brother.
Okay. How do you say Ahmad brother first in Arabic? The normal one. Just forget about everything. Just mudah ilaih. How do you say Ahmad brother?
Or brother of
Brother of Ahmad.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you say that?
So
No, Akhu Ahmad. Akhu?
Akul Ahmadi.
No. Ahmad is actually mamnu min as-sarf.
Mamnun is Ahmada.
Yeah. So it's Akhu Ahmada.
Akhu Ahmad.
Now Akhu. Now with the full sentence, you cannot say Akhu because Akhu is now the detail. It becomes Akha.
This is where the mansub will apply.
Yes.
So it has to be.
Because now you are hitting who? You are hitting the brother. But you don't change Ahmada to become something else. But well, it's mamnu min as-sarf. It's Ahmada anyway. You can see it. But it's Ahmada. You don't change that because that's not the one being hit. It's just the brother. But Ahmad's brother. But the one being hit is the brother, not Ahmad. You get it? Don't change Ahmad. You get it?
Yeah.
You change the brother. You don't change Ahmad because Ahmad is not the subject. Oh, sorry. The information. Ahmad is not the detail. The one that's being hit is actually the brother.
So the Akhal.
Akha, Ahmada, Akha Ahmada. No Akhal. You cannot say. You cannot add alif lam. Remember the
Because of the whole.
because of the whole discussion that we had.
So Akha Ahmada.
Akha Ahmada. Get it? So
I think so.
probably need a bit more practice. But basically, the rule is like that. If let's say there's no specific rule, like mudah filai, I never say it has to be marfu. I never say that, right? Then this rule is going to override it. But if let's say like to the masjid, that one already has its own kind of rule, harfu jar and jar majrur, so you can't do anything. Just leave it as it is. Yeah. And then if let's say same thing, na man'ut. Let's say for example, I hit a big car for whatever reason. I hit a big car. So then the car become okay. I don't want to try. Like maybe not I hit. Muhammad hit a big car. Let's say for example.
Big.
How do you say big car?
Sayyar.
Sayaratu kabiratun. That's big car, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now try to make sure that.
سيارة كبيرة.
Mm,
سيارة
what's the rule of man'un? Not man'un?
كبيرة.
Kabi?
كبيرة.
Kabirata. Because the rule of na'at,
So
it has to follow man'un.
follow that.
That's the rule, right? So now, because the man'un is mansub, you have to follow it.
Doesn't remain كبيرة because
It cannot mean. It cannot remain. Yes. That's why the rule is really important. Now you know the rule have to follow, then
So
you follow it.
which ta is it? Like
Uh,
alif or
yes, no, that one is still the normal, the tamal ruta. No, normal. Yeah, that one is still normal one. Yeah. So in this case, what did we say? Did we say sayarata? Sayaratan, a big car. So sayaratan is common. I say a big car. I didn't say the big car. So sayaratan, kabiratan, kabiratan.
So if you then it becomes Sayarata Kabirata.
Uh,
it will still be sayara.
sayaratan kabiratan. Unless I say
Okay, okay.
Unless I say the big car, then as-sayarata al-kabirata.
Yeah.
Okay? Make sense?
Why is it not sayaratan?
But is it not sayaratan?
Yeah.
If I say I hit the big car, if I say I hit
I'm
the
not
big
saying as-sayarata.
No. I'm giving an example to
Yeah,
brother.
yeah.
Yeah, sorry?
Why? So, ضرب محمد سيارة.
Muhammadun.
محمد
Uh-huh.
سيارة كبيرة.
Sayar,
كبيرة. That's what we said.
sayaratan kabiratan.
سيارة كبيرة. That's what I was going to say.
No, sayaratan kabiratan. The other one is the different example.
Yeah.
I hit the big car,
Then it will be as-sayarata.
as-sayarata
Yeah.
al-kabirata.
Yeah.
So the rule of Namanut still apply because we said not have to follow Manut, right? All four properties. So it has to follow. So all of that are coming together, hopefully. But
It'll be good homework.
yeah, the rest you don't have to worry about that. It's not in book one. Not in book two. Just the where, when, how. Just FYI, you don't really need to remember. Yeah, that's basically it
All
for.
the detail has to be mansub.
Yeah, the detail has to be
There
masuk.
by-
Yeah. Has to be masuk. Status for auditor must be masuk. Yeah, it's actually there, but yeah, I forgot to mention it before I go to the example. All right, so that's basically it. 9:48. Okay, maybe we do more practice then. All right, so let's say for example you want to see what have we learned so far. We have learned heat, right? We have learned heat. Okay, so you want to say Aisha hit the car. How do you say that?
ضرب عائشة.
Not daraba.
ضربت.
Darabats.
Of course.
Darabats.
ضربت عائشة.
No Aishata. That's the detail. Aisha too.
Oh, yes, too.
If you say Darabat Aishata, she hit Aisha. If you say Darabat Aishata, it means she hit Aisha.
It has to be marfu.
It has to be marfu. Otherwise, it's a detail. If it's not the marfu, then it's a detail.
As Sayarata.
As-sayarata. Good. The car. As-sayarata. Make sense? Right. So let's say the doctors went to the masjid. How's it right?
خرجوا
No, not kharaju.
ذهبوا
When? Siapa pakai? Yeah. Saya juga tahu.
Oh, this is plural, but still use the singular one, right?
Correct. So how do you say the doctors went to the masjid? Zahaba?
طلاب
Not Tula. No. Tula is student. Al-Tibba'u.
الطباء
إلى المسجد.
Ila al-masjid. So Zahaba. Al-Tibba'u. Marfu, right? Al-Tibba'u. Ila al-masjid.
المسجد
So the doctors, because it is singular and it is marfu and it is after, then it actually replace. You're not saying he went the doctors. No, you are saying the doctors went because it replaced the he inside it. Okay. So if I say
So why would still be Zahaba? Because the doctors.
what's the rule? The rule of the outside doer and the inside is no.
it's gender
Gender must match. Okay. What else? What are the other rules?
Come after.
Should come after. What else? Should be marfu. Yes. So Go back to here.
I was talking about the fail itself. Why is it still Zahaba? Why is it not?
Okay, so that's why need to go back to the rule. What we said, if it is pronoun, let's say you say they went, then you use that table. You use the whole table.
Oh yeah,
If it is not a pronoun, then
If it's not a pronoun, you can't use that.
Yes, yes, yes. I remember that. I remember.
Yes, I'm not saying they went. I say the doctors went. I didn't say they went. If I say they went,
Yeah, I get
then
it.
I would say
I
zahabu.
think it was one of the rules that you have to use.
Yeah, you have to use this one. Yeah.
First person singular.
Yeah. That's why you always need to see
Third person singular.
the person. Yeah. Are you talking about like a pronoun, or are you talking about like, okay? Let's do the pronoun first, I suppose. Let's say for example,
happy after this and this simple. And we should be happy on this rule. It's something simple.
they
Just
went.
use two types for everything.
Yeah. They went to the hospital. No, that's not a good one. To the shop. Something different. Yeah, that one. They went to the shop.
So Zahabu.
Zahabu.
Ilal dukan. Ilal dukani.
Ila dukani. Zahabu ila dukani. So if I say they, but then female. Oops.
Zahabna.
Zahabna. Zahabna. If I say you, as in male. Singular. Yep, singular.
Zahabtum.
No, zahabtum. Singular.
Zahabta.
Zahabta. Anta, zahabta. Because you is anta, right? So anta, zahabta. If I say
Without a link, right?
without alif, correct. If I say you but female, zahabti. If I say you but then plural and male, zabtum. If I say you feminine, not two, plural. Tuma is dual. Tunna. Sabtunna. If I say we,
Zahabna.
zahabna. If I say I, zahabtu. Zahabtu. That's why, yeah, it's actually more difficult. You have to remember the other one. The other one is really easy. That's what he said.
Let's keep sending us. Not all of them. Have one type.
You don't need to use just male and female.
Okay.
Send people we know doing stuff.
By name. Yeah. What else? Okay, so let's say for example, you male plural sat in the masjid.
Jarastum
Jalastum?
fil masjid.
Jalastum fil masjidi. So because antum, right? So male plural is antum. So jalastum.
The six, the 12, six.
Where is it?
They're touching with-
I cannot find.
We should be thankful he's not showing the dual in there. You too.
I don't understand why you have to have
Dual.
Because you simply blame their
I mean, if it's two, you gotta know their name. And you're done with it.
Yeah, yeah. I'm
If
at
you
that
don't,
I went on moment.
you have nothing to do with it. Alright, let's do it.
punishing kind.
So we have said. What else do we say? We use hit. We use went. Let's say left. Left is kharaja. So let's say for example, I left the mosque.
Haraja.
Not kharaja.
Ana.
I.
Ana.
No. So use ana.
Kharajtu.
Kharajtu.
Kharajtul masjidi.
No. Has to be
From
They say I left the mosque. It's okay.
it should be mansub, right?
Yes.
Kharajtul masjida.
Al-masjida. Al-masjida.
المسجد is now مفعول به, right?
Yes, correct. It's the maf'ul. It's the detail now. I left the mosque. That's actually still the correct English. I left the mosque. Or like I went out from the mosque. I can say that as well.
Yeah.
But this one, because I want to make sure that the mansub one. That's why I put like that. I didn't put the two. Yeah.
We
Uh,
are not learning the detail.
nah. That one is yeah different because with you will use like B. Ma'a is like for what do you call that? Akil. Let's say you went with someone, then you use ma'a. But let's say you eat with something, like with a spoon, you use B. You don't use ma'a. As an example. Yeah. Like Allahu ma'ana, Allah is with us. Allahu ma'ana. But we're not saying Allah is human, but I mean that rule kind of apply. Yeah. Allahu ma'ana.
If I eat with spoon,
Mm.
B.
B. You use B. Yeah, for Iraq you use B. Okay? I think that's good place to probably stop. 9:57.
So,
Inshallah. Oh yeah. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika asyhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Yes.
I need to revise that because I.
Yeah.
So which slide back you covered
The plural. The plural.
because there was some review session that was not followed.
Correct.
revision for you.
No, there's a group.
Number.
He's explaining it very nicely.
Yeah.
So number you go to slide
Yeah.
15.
English,
Sorry.
I'm trying to match what he's saying.
Gender.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Slide 15.
In my language,
Slide 15 is the numbers. The plural.
of,
Now, for example, this one, Muslimun, Muslimani, Muslimuna. So that's the plural.
Where you cover the patrons, I was very confused.
Which one? Which pattern?
The patrons, where you say how to make the plural
How to make the plural?
of like.
Like Muslimun, Muslimuna, like that.
Yeah, there were
Okay.
patrons, right?
Yeah, it's this one. It's this one. So let's say, for example, this one. Remember when we talked about Jamak Mudzakkar Salim with Sheikh Yusuf? Right? Mudzakkar Salim, you have to add una at the end. Muslimun, Muslimuna. Right?
The
Mudarrisun.
problem was in the Jama Taksir.
Yes. The problem is Jamak Tasir, not this one.
Not this one.
Yeah, Jamak Tasir, there's no rule though for Jamak Tasir. Yeah, let's say for example Jamak Tasir, this one, right?
What is this thing? For one word,
Syahidun, then syuhada,
Some the fual, the
fa'il. The maf'ul and the ism fa'il and ism maf'ul. Talking about that?
we used to have the patron then fa'ain.
Yeah. But there's no specific rule though. Like it's not always it has to follow that pattern. I think what she was explaining to us, if let's say for example, it is ism fa'il and ism maf'ul. Not sure whether we have enough time to explain, but ism fa'il is not really the fa'il, but it is describing the doer in a way. Let's say for example, Muslim is the person who submit. Is from aslama, right? Aslama yuslimu islama fawa muslimun. Muslimun is actually ism fa'il because it is a person who submit. Muslimun. Okay? So for those kind, it is ism fa'il. It follows the una. You can just add una to the end, right? So he was trying to explain that the ism fa'il and ism maf'ul, the ism maf'ul will be muslamun. Muslimun, muslamun. The difference is the fatah and the kasrah, right? So muslamun, you can also add muslamuna as an example. But then that's the easy one. But then the difficult one, let's say for example, aghniya'u, afdiqa'u, that one follow af'ila'u. Because the fa'ala is the root word. Daraba, they're not daraba, right? Fa, ain, lam letter. Daraba. Fa, ain, lam letter. Kharaja. Kharaja, fa, ain, lam letter. Right? And then if let's say we say asdiqa'u, that's actually af'ila'u pattern. Azan.